cutting yourself short if you are setting your standards too low. Okay, so when we set our standards, people say don't set those high standards, you're gonna feel bad when you don't accomplish them, or you're gonna be worse, you're gonna feel depressed if you didn't achieve them. Okay, suppose you set something of a goal, like you wanna buy a BMW M3. Okay, so you wanna buy a BMW M3, but what people will say, you should go for a mid car, then you can go for that car. But the real reason why you should set your standards even higher, you know why? If you shoot for the moon, you will aim. If it was like, if you shoot for the stars, you will get to the moon, something like that. That's the saying that people use, and it is very true. If you set that you want to get to $1 million a month, you might not get to that. You might get to 100k, 200k, 300k. But if you set your goal at 100k, you will never get at that. You will never be at 100k, you will be below that, because we tend to tend to slack off as we start to get closer to our goal. Okay, some people don't slack off, but I'm talking to majority, not minority. There is majority in minority, you know what I mean? Like, suppose you think about, you can make 100k a month, but think of it, you are the minority of people that think that they can make 100k a month, and in this minority there comes another minority that thinks he or she can make 1 million. Okay, so it's all about groups and groups and groups. The higher you set your standards, the higher you are gonna go, because it is very hard for you to accomplish what you haven't thought about. I'm not talking about like you go on an adventure and you didn't think of that you will find this animal and you found those animals. No, no, no. If suppose your goal is to make money, because I really like to talk about numbers because I love numbers. Okay, you can say I'm a financial guy. Okay, suppose you wanna take your company revenue to, in FYI 2024, your company revenue was, let's just take $1 million. Okay, and in FYI 2025, you want to take your company revenue to around $2 million, double it, or just 30% increase, $1.3 million. If you just think that I'm gonna do $1.3 million, you can do it, but the chances of that happening is low compared to if you think you can scale it to $2 million. Then you will take harsher decisions. It might damage your business, but bro, risk equal reward, that's the thing. So it might damage your business, but if you succeed, you will be at like 1.67k. You would succeed your goal by 2x original goal, just because you set your standards high enough. So don't be afraid to set your standards high enough. I hear people often say, yeah, don't set your standard, you will feel depressed, you will feel sad. First of all, you have to be a realist. Okay, not realist, realist. What do I mean by that? Suppose a car hit you. Now there are three scenarios that you can do in that. First, you will be start cursing out, saying this and that to that guy. Second, you will think, why did that car hit me? Why did that car hit me? You start to blame government, this and that. And the third one is the most amazing one. You question, why aren't you in another part of the town, or why aren't you in your own car? Then you will say, even if I curse him out, even if I do this, that, or that. Mind you, I live in a third world country, so like in US, if you if you get in an accident with somebody, there are so strict action there and there, but in my country there are not that many serious actions. You can just, literally not gonna lie to you, you can just do an underhand, you know what I mean by underhand, and then you are out to go. So there is not much of that. So you have to be a realist. You have to think, if I set my goal at, let's just forget 1 million, 2 million, let's just say $10,000 minimum. You say, I want to go to $10,000. If you set your goal to $10,000, the chances of you getting to $10,000 are far less if you set your goal to $30,000 a month. Okay, you have to set your goal higher, 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 higher. Another strategy which people do is they always extend the finishing line. This is also cool. You can do both, but I prefer the setting the goal higher at first, So when I start to climb up, I don't feel like I'm catching up to my goal. And when I catch up to my goal, usually, not gonna lie to you, when you catch up to your big goal, you're gonna fall a little, and then you're gonna climb again when you set that goal, this and that. So think from starting to set your goal at the highest level you can imagine. Don't be afraid, it doesn't cost anything to imagine. Okay, you imagine all those scenarios in, in your head at night time, that you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna drive that car. It doesn't cost money. So why don't you think in terms of you building a good physique, you you contracting with a client, I guess. You contracting with a client, you getting so many leads, you getting so many clients, you getting so many customers. Why don't you think in that term? Why why do you get conservative in that term? Why you be like, no, we have to think real? You don't think real 80% of the time. So why now? Set your standard highest, highest, highest. It is never gonna get you in trouble or this and that. It is never gonna negatively influence you until you have a bad mindset. If you have a bad mindset that you think, no, I'm not gonna do this, I'm depressed, this and that, it is gonna harm you. But if you don't have that, figure out, okay, if you don't have that mindset, you are good to go. But if you have that mindset, I would say you should go with the other one, the one that you set $10,000, and as soon as you're about to reach $10,000, you scale it to 12,000, 14,000, 16,000, 20,000. Because that is better for the people that have tendencies to say, I'm not feeling good, I'm not gonna do this and that. Just that. See you in the next one.